Hi, welcome back to the channel and my ranking for the Final Destination franchise. So with the latest sequel, Bloodlines, we now have 6 movies in the series. I recently revisited every movie in the franchise, so they're all kind of fresh in my mind again. I have watched these all a number of times throughout my life. I've always had a bit of nostalgia for these movies. And at the end of the day, they're just good fun. If you want to go out and kill 90 minutes with a horror movie, you can't go wrong with most of the Final Destination movies. It was always a creative and fun concept, and they've managed to milk it for all it's worth for 25 years now. So let's get straight into this, going from worst to best. So starting down at the bottom at number 6, I've got The Final Destination, which is the 4th movie in the series. I would say this is the only one that I don't like in the franchise. When you look at everything that kind of makes a Final Destination movie work, this one is a big step down in every single one of those departments. The characters here are more unlikable than ever. They're very annoying to watch. You don't get invested at all into anything that's going on with them. I only saw the movie a week ago and I can't remember anything about the lead guy in it. Just particularly unremarkable here, I think. The effects work is really distracting because of how bad it is. Lots of dodgy CGI. They were way too ambitious with some of the death sequences and set pieces they were trying to pull off here, given the limitations, obviously, of CGI at the time. Doesn't help at all. This movie was also filmed in 3D, which dates it even further. Yeah, it's not unwatchable. It's still okay. Like, so it's a very short film, so it's kind of easy to get through. But when you kind of binge this franchise, this one easily sticks out to me as being the lowest quality with the least fun to offer. At number 5, I'm actually going to go with the new film, Final Destination Bloodlines. Now, no hate on this movie. As I say, from this point onwards, I actually do enjoy all of the rest of the films in the franchise, including this one. So it's definitely worth still watching. I'd give it 3 out of 5. I just think I can see in a few months' time this one is going to fade from my memory more than the other films. I do think as well there is a little bit of a lack of attention to detail with the characters, so that there's very little to invest yourself in. And to some extent that is a problem with all of these movies, but I just feel like with the ones above it, they put a little bit more effort into it, so there is something to latch onto, something to invest yourself in, rather than just watching kind of death scene after death scene, which, don't get me wrong, is a lot of fun to watch. If you come to these movies primarily for that, you're going to have a lot of fun with this one. It's extremely gory, it's pretty nasty, there's a lot of very elaborate death sequences, and you will have a lot of fun with that. And I will say as well, the opening sequence, which of course is the talking point, is the tradition of all the Final Destination movies, and the opening sequence for this one is particularly strong. Definitely one of the better ones in the franchise. Just for that 20 minutes alone, it's worth going out to see. Number 4, I'm going to go with Final Destination 2. And I've always enjoyed this sequel, but watching it again straight after the first film, I did notice how there wasn't really any of the kind of build up to any of the scenes, or especially the opening premonition that the first film had. There wasn't that kind of real sense of dread and sense of foreboding around it, and it kind of lost something for me not having that. Despite that, the opening premonition is very good. There's obviously a lot more money in this film, so the big highway pile-up is another standout scene from the franchise. It looks pretty insane. It's a great sequence. And I do think the film is helped by managing to bring back Ali Larter into the story, because once she turns up and kind of brings a little bit more substance to the story, I do get quite invested with it. I just generally like her as an actress. She's charming, she's a nice presence as well. But I think if it wasn't for her, the rest of these characters are pretty forgettable. There's not a lot going on with them. It's not a group of friends that survive the premonition. It is just a group of random people for the highway. And once again, the movie is just a sequence of elaborate set pieces of finding ways to set up hilarious death scenes for these characters. It's definitely more self-aware than the first film. I think it's got a less serious tone. It's definitely what started that vibe of the more playful tone where it's having fun with the concept. A lot of the scenes are funny. So it's definitely an enjoyable movie. It kills the time quite nicely, but probably one of the lesser sequels for me in the franchise. Number 3, I've got Final Destination 5. This is a very entertaining movie. I think of all of the series, this may be the most rewatchable for me. Like if I just wanted to wind down, switch my brain off, I could throw this one any time because it is just so much fun to watch. Again, this one's got one of the more standout opening sequences, I think. The whole bridge collapse is absolutely wild. It's a pretty exciting scene. It looks pretty good as well. It's pretty nasty. And just, yeah, one of the better premonitions, I think, in the series. The characters are decent enough. I quite like all of the drama between them and how it all leads up to that final confrontation. That was something we hadn't seen in the series before, so it has quite an exciting climax. And I really do like that final scene as well, the way they bring everything full circle and them getting onto the plane. That was a nice touch. Number 2, I'm going with Final Destination 3. So unfortunately, this movie is let down, I think, by the opening sequence. It's one of the worst premonition scenes. Not because of the setup. I do think the build up to the whole roller coaster catastrophe is nicely done. It's just all of the CGI and the effects work on the roller coaster is so bad. It's very distracting now to watch. It's a little bit embarrassing when you look at the effects, especially compared to after just having seen the new one. Like this movie is really starting to date itself in that first scene. It was just way too ambitious. They didn't handle it right. But everything else in the movie, I think, is done really well. I do think it helps that you've probably got what I would say is the best actor in the franchise leading this movie. You've got Mary Elizabeth Winstead, who's always great, really great actress. I've liked her in a lot of movies, and she carries this one nicely. She has a charm about her where she's very engaging. She gets you invested in her character very quickly. So even though the drama that's going on is rather limited, because obviously it is just trying to get to all the big death scenes, but the little bits of kind of character interaction that you do get, I get pretty invested in. Like even the whole thing at the start about her boyfriend and the friend's boyfriend being killed, so the kind of opposites have to come together, and like how their relationship and friendship builds throughout the movie. I just quite liked that. There's nice things in it like that, and something to actually invest yourself in a little bit more so than the movies that have come below this. But still, just like the others, this one's having a lot of fun with its concept as well. It's very over the top, it's very bright and fast paced, and the death scenes are equally hilarious and nasty to watch. So yeah, I don't think you can go wrong to this sequel. Particular standout scene is the two girls in the sunbeds getting cooked alive. It is equally hilarious and horrific to watch, and that final cut from the sunbeds to the two coffins will get a good laugh out of you, that's for sure. And my number 1, my favourite movie in the series, is still the original Final Destination. It might be the nostalgia talking, just because I've been watching this movie for so many years, but I just think there's a little bit more thought and care put into this original movie. Definitely tonally, when you binge these, you notice that this one is a lot more serious than the later films. It's kind of taken itself and the concept more seriously. It spends more time with the characters. It's a little bit more tame, a little bit quieter. But I kind of appreciate that more about it now. I think the opening sequence is the standout of the entire franchise. The first 20 minutes of the movie is brilliant. Just the whole kind of feeling in the air that something's really wrong. You're watching it from the perspective of this character where he's anxious leading up to this flight. He knows something isn't quite right. And when it all starts to kick off and the chaos as they're taking off on this flight, it's just a lot of really great drama leading up to this kind of course, this premonition of the plane crash. It's pretty iconic for 2000s horror, and I love all of that stuff. It's definitely still not a perfect film. The second half, like the others, it does kind of lose steam a little bit. And it never quite reaches the heights that it does in that first half an hour. But I'm happy to follow along with these characters. I like Devon Sawa. I really like Ali Lata as well. I think they've got a nice bit of chemistry between each other. There's a little bit of attention to detail paid with how these young people kind of respond to such a horrific incident happening to their schoolmates, and like there's a bit of aftermath with that. Like that's one thing you notice with the sequels, like people's immediate family members die and like 5 minutes later they're just eating their dinner, just chilling like nothing's happened. Whereas in this movie there's actually a bit of time spent showing like how harrowing these events actually would be for someone going through this, and I kind of appreciate that about this movie now. So yeah, still for me it's the #1 film in the franchise, and I do think kind of following the Scream era and all of those movies that came following that, this is one of the standouts of that era. So guys, that is my ranking for the Final Destination franchise. Let me know down in the comments how you would rank these movies, and let me know what you think of the new one, Bloodlines. But anyway, thanks so much for watching this video. As always, I really do appreciate it. Do take care, and I'll see you next time.